Did you know Pakistan could have its first Catholic saint? On 14th August, Pakistan celebrates its Independence Day. But today, I want to tell you a different story about Pakistan. A story of faith, courage, sacrifice, and to Catholics whose lives continue to inspire people around the world. Could one of them one day become Pakistan's first Catholic saint? Let's find out. Our first story takes us to Islamabad, Pakistan. His name was Shahbaz Bhatti. He was a Catholic Christian who became Pakistan's first federal minister for minorities. But Bhatti wasn't someone who simply held a government position. He openly spoke for Pakistan's religious minorities, particularly those who are vulnerable to discrimination and persecution. And he knew that speaking up could come at a terrible cost. He once said that he had been offered safety and warned about the dangers he faced if he carried on speaking like this, but he chose not to remain silent. For Shehbaz, his Catholic faith wasn't something he kept inside a church, it shaped the way he lived. And then, on 2nd March 2011, tragedy struck. While traveling in Islamabad, Shehbaz was attacked and assassinated. He was only 42 years old. His death shocked Pakistan and the Catholic world. But here is where his story becomes even more interesting. The Catholic Church later opened his cause for beatification, and he is now officially known as the servant of God. That doesn't mean he is a saint yet, but it means the church is formally examining his life, his faith, and his witness. And Shehbaz isn't the only Pakistani Catholic whose story has captured the attention of the church. Our second story takes us to Lahore. His name was Akash Bashir. And unlike Bhatti, Akash wasn't a politician. He was a young Catholic man who volunteered as a security guard outside St. John's Catholic Church in Johanabad, Lahore. It was 15th of March 2015. Akash was standing at the entrance of the church when he noticed something was terribly wrong. A suicide bomber was approaching. Akash confronted him. He reportedly held on to the attacker and prevented him from entering the church. And in doing so, Akash gave his own life to protect the people worshipping inside. He was only 20 years old. Think about that for a moment. 20. Most people at that age are thinking about their future, their career, their dreams. Akash was thinking about protecting others. His final act was one of extraordinary courage, and the Catholic Church has already recognized his story. In 2022, Pope Francis authorized the promulgation of a decree recognizing Akash as a martyr, opening up an important path towards his beatification. And so now we have two remarkable Pakistani Catholics. One, a man who used his public position and his voice to defend the persecuted. The other, a young man who physically placed himself between a suicide bomber and his fellow worshippers. But what can we learn from these stories? Let's find out. Sometimes we imagine saints are people who have lived hundreds of years ago. We picture ancient churches, old paintings, and stories from another century. But the stories of Shahbaz and Akash remind us of something very, very important. Holiness can happen in our own time. It can happen in Pakistan, it can happen in India, it can happen anywhere. And sainthood isn't about having a perfect life, it's about how completely we allow our faith to shape the way we live. Shahbaz used his voice, Akash used his courage. One stood for the people who were being persecuted, the other stood in front of danger to protect people inside a church. Different lives, different circumstances, but one common message. Faith is not just something we say, faith is something we live. And perhaps that's the question for all of us. If we say we believe in Christ, what are we willing to do when our faith is tested? Would we speak when it is easier to remain silent? Would we stand up for someone who treated unfairly? Would we protect someone who is vulnerable? Would our faith still remain strong when following Christ becomes difficult? Because Jesus never told us that following Him would always be easy. He told us to take up our cross and follow Him. And sometimes that cross can mean courage. Sometimes it can mean sacrifice. Sometimes it can simply mean standing up for what is right when everyone else is telling us to stay quiet. So, on this 14th August, Pakistan's Independence Day, as Pakistan celebrates its independence, let's also remember these two Pakistani Catholics whose lives became powerful witnesses of faith, Shahbaz and Akash. One gave his voice, one gave his life protecting others. Neither should be remembered simply because of how they died. They should be remembered for how they lived and for what they stood for. And perhaps one day the Catholic Church may formally raise one or even both as their names to the altars. But until then, their stories already challenge us. Are we living our faith or are we simply talking about it? Happy Independence Day to the people of Pakistan, and may God bless Pakistan, its people, and every Christian who continues to live their faith with courage. Please don't forget to share this video, and if you are new, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button to this beautiful channel. Faith over feelings always. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care and God bless you all.